So, question number 30, which asks explain fully the rule that a mortgage is one and indivisible. Are there any exception to this rule? So, regarding the correct and appropriate answer, we have to examine the provisions of section 60. So, regarding this provision of section 60, which recognizes the rule that a mortgage is one and indivisible, the property comprised in a mortgage is security for the entire debt and for every part of it. It follows that the holder of a partial interest in the right of redemption cannot redeem a part of the property on payment of a proportionate part of the debt, and that on the other hand, the claim of the mortgagee must be prosecuted in one suit and not split into several claims against the several persons interested in the right of redemption. And regarding the very law relating to as mortgage is one and indivisible, the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council in the leading case Nilkant versus Suresh Chandra pronounced that it is quite a new thing to hold that the purchaser of a single part of the equity of redemption may come without bringing the other purchasers into the court and have an account as between himself and the mortgagee alone, so that the mortgage may be paid off piecemeal. Such a law would result in great injustice to the mortgagee. It would put him to separate suit against each purchaser of a part of the equity of redemption, though purchasing without his consent, and he would have separate suits against each of them, and suit in which no one of the parties would be bound by anything which took place in a suit against another. Different proportions of value might be struck in the different suits, and the utmost confusion and embarrassment would be created, as it was declared by the Privy Council Judicial Committee on this important leading case, Nilkant versus Suresh Chandra. So now we'll go to one illustration also. Another important leading case, that is Shagan Lal versus Naran Das. In 1982, Supreme Court made it clear regarding the very law in relation to the provision of section 60 that mortgage is one and indivisible. So, the very ruling of Supreme Court in 1982 relating to this leading case, a perusal of section 60 indicates that a co-mortgager cannot be permitted to redeem his own share of the mortgage property only on payment of proportionate part of the amount remaining due. In other words, the integrity of the mortgage cannot be broken as it was decided by the Supreme Court in 1982 in this leading case, Chagan Lal versus Naran Das, where the very law relating to Section 60 was being clarified as that mortgage is one and indivisible. And in that connection, we'll discuss one illustration, and that illustration is a mortgage X property to B for arrest 1000. A sells 1/4 of that X property to C for Rs 200 and 3/4 of that X property to D. So C cannot redeem his 1/4 share unless B agrees. So this is the illustration which we have discussed to clarify the very law relating to Section 60 of the Transfer of Property Act, and that is relating to that mortgage is one and indivisible. And in that connection, we could discuss another illustration that we have not mentioned here, that is the illustration number 2. A and B are owners of properties X and Y, which are valued at Rs 2000 and Rs 3000 respectively. So the property X was valued at Rs 2000 and the property Y was valued at Rs 3000. Both jointly executed a mortgage. Here it means both A and B jointly execute a mortgage in favor of M. A cannot redeem his property X on payment of the proportionate debt of Rs 2000, which was valued, that we have discussed, and the very property could not be redeemed by A from M on payment of the proportionate debt of Rs 2000. So this illustration also clarify the law relating to Section 60 that mortgage is one and indivisible. And now we'll discuss the very exception that we found regarding this law relating to that mortgage is one and indivisible. And the very exception is that if the mortgagee acquires a share in the property mortgage and the integrity of the mortgage is broken, and thereupon a sharer is entitled to redeem his own share. So the provision to Section 60 admits of an exception to the general rule regarding indivisibility of mortgage. The exception is that if the mortgagee acquires a share in the property mortgaged, the integrity of the mortgage is broken, and thereupon a sharer is entitled to redeem his own share. Thus, we will discuss one illustration relating to this exception, that is, the four fields A, B, C, and D. These four different fields are mortgaged for Rs 400 and the mortgager sells the field number A to M for Rs 100 and the B field to N for Rs 100 and the C field to Z for Rs 100 and the fourth field, that is D, to the mortgagee for Rs 100, then the integrity of the mortgage is broken by the mortgagee himself, and consequently M, N, or Z may each redeem his one field for rupees 100. The same rule applies where the mortgage inherits a share of a mortgagor. So this is the exception that we found to the law embodied under Section 60 of the Transfer of Property Act, which expresses that the rule that mortgage is one and indivisible. And in that connection, we have discussed one important clarification of the law relating to Section 60 was made by the Privy Council in that important leading case, Nilkant versus Suresh Chandra. So also our Supreme Court clarified the very law relating to Section 60 in regards to the leading case Jagan Lal versus Naran Das in 1982, and we have discussed two important illustrations to clarify the law relating to Section 60. So also we have discussed and explained the exception, and while discussing and explaining the exception, we have also discussed another important illustration to clarify the very exception to the rule that a mortgage is one and indivisible. So, in our next upcoming videos, we would like to discuss some provisions relating to the Constitution of India, and in particularly the impeachment of the President of India and his power regarding pardon, reprieve, remit, etc.